Esther Part 3. Esther Trusts in God. It was the night before the feast. Esther had arranged for the king and Haman. Haman had ordered a gallows be built to hang Mordecai. The king, however, could not sleep, so he asked a servant to read to him about the events of his reign. When the details of the plot that Mordecai had uncovered were read, he called for his servants. "Search the royal records and see if I ever thanked Mordecai." The servants reported that Mordecai had not been thanked. The next morning, Haman had hurried to see the king. This was his chance to ask that Mordecai to be hanged on his gallows. Before he could make his request, the king asked him a question. "How should I honor a man I want to reward?" the king asked. Thinking that the king wanted to honor him, Haman replied, "Dress him in a royal robe, put him on the king's horse, led by one of the most noble princes, and lead him through the city shouting, 'The king honors this man.'" "Good idea," replied the king. "Go and do all that for Mordecai." Haman silently fumed. He had to lead Mordecai dressed in royal robes, on horseback through the city shouting, "This is how the king honors this man." After that, Haman went home feeling humiliated and angry, but he still had the feast with the king and queen to look forward to. After eating some fine food at the feast, the king turned to Esther and asked if there was anything he could give her. "I have one request," said Esther. "I and my people are about to be destroyed by someone in your kingdom. We need protection. Who would dare to kill you?" thundered the king. Esther pointed at Haman. Haman sank down in his chair. "Guards!" shouted the king. Haman collapsed at Esther's feet and clutched at her, begging for mercy. When the king saw Haman clutching at Esther's dress, he thought Haman was trying to attack her. "Seize that man!" he shouted. A guard grabbed Haman and dragged him away. One of the servants approached the king. "Your Majesty," he said, "Haman built a gallows and wanted to hang your friend Mordecai on it." The king immediately ordered that Haman be hanged on the gallows instead. Soon after that, Queen Esther asked the king if he could cancel the command for all the Jews to be destroyed. The king could not. It was a rule that the laws of the Medes and Persians could not be changed. "But," said the king, "I could make a new command. The Jews can defend themselves from anyone who attacks them." So on the day when the Jews were supposed to be killed, anyone who tried met a well-armed team of Jews ready to fight back. So all the Jews were saved, Haman was dead, and Mordecai was promoted to a high rank. God had answered their prayers in a most dramatic way. The story of Esther shows us how God uses people from all nations to carry out his plans and purposes. He answers prayer and rescues those who call out to him for help. God may have put you in a position where you can serve him. Have a wonderful day.
Wasn't that great? I knew you would enjoy it. This week, let's practice on putting God first and spend time with him, our family and friends. And then come back to hear more wonderful stories that I learned in Sunday school. And just remember, even the greatest things on earth started with a small, humble birth. God can use us in every way, no matter how small we feel today. Small beginnings, big outcomes. God's power makes them come about. Step by step, we'll make it through with faith in God. We'll see it through. So let's hold on to Zechariah 4:10. Our small beginnings will never end. God will guide us every day, and with him, we'll find our way.